Hello, everyone, and welcome into another episode of the OUA Basketball Show. My name's Griffin Porter. Thanks for joining us. I know, it's a different location today. Just remain calm. We're going to get through this, and you know how we're going to get through this? We're going to get through it by doing what we do best here on the OUA Basketball Show. We're going to talk about OUA basketball, and what a time to talk about OUA basketball, because boy, oh boy, what a weekend it was. The action was definitely centered on our provincial capital of Toronto, but there were some other interesting results as well, with the Queens men edging out Windsor by 1, the Lakehead men continuing their great season by going 2-0, and of course, on the women's side, one of the big headlines, a history-making win for head coach Teresa Burns as she won her 570th game of her career over the weekend. 570! That puts her second all-time for U Sports women's basketball, so a huge congratulations to Coach Burns and her Marauders. But Toronto was the center of attention for the OUA last weekend as the two Ottawa schools came to town to each play a series against U of T and TMU, and there were statements made all over the city. First by the TMU Bold women's team, who proved that their early season struggles are far in the rear view as they gave the GGs their first loss of the season. Ottawa GG's finally falling. However, the Carleton Ravens women, they came back with a statement of their own as they beat TMU the very next night, while Ottawa took out a bit of their frustration on U of T, showing, I think, that all three of those teams, Carleton, Ottawa, TMU, they are all national championship heavyweights. It's going to be a great Critelli Cup playoffs and more. Unfortunately for Carleton fans, however, the women's side, great. They weren't quite as successful on the men's side as they lost 2 games in a row for just the second time in the last 20 years. Big thanks to a friend of the show, Mark Colley of the Charlatan, for that stat. However, it was a much happier weekend for their crosstown rivals, the U of Ottawa GGs, on the men's side, and I have a guest who can help us talk about just that. And my guest today is a man who is making a name for himself with the University of Ottawa GGs this year, Kevin O'Toole. Thank you for coming on the OUA Basketball Show.
Thanks for having me. It's an honor for coming on the show today.
An honor. You're the first person to ever say it's an honor. I think that's good news for the way the show is going. So the reason I knew I wanted to talk to a GG this week because you guys just had that great weekend, the great road trip in Toronto. I know it meant a lot to you personally, but just before we get into that, I want to get into the team a little bit. You guys knew that like both Ottawa schools were going to play both Toronto schools this weekend. 2 big games against the U of T Varsity Blues, who have been one of the best stories in Ontario this year, and of course the TMU Bold, who are also always a great team. Was there any sort of like different preparation that you guys did, knowing just how important these weekend's games were?
Just knowing that we're going into Toronto, we just had to always lock in no matter who we played. It depends. It didn't matter if we played Ryerson first. TMU first, or we played U of T first. We were just always trying to lock into both games because they're always going to be a bang-up. So we just try to come with a game plan, focus on one team at a time, and just follow the game plan throughout the game.
Yeah, and you pulled off the 2 big wins. I think everyone knew already that the GGs were national championship contenders. Do you think that you have sort of proved anything with these 2 wins, or is it just more of the same?
I don't think we've proved anything yet until we win the national championship. But I think teams are knowing that we're a really solid team, a real solid bunch that we can, at any night, we can make you pay for any mistakes that you give us on the court. So
yeah, that is.
We're kind of the underdog, but we're just trying to make a name for ourselves and just at the end of the year win that national championship, like I said.
Yeah. And of course, for you are from Toronto. Before you joined the University of Ottawa, you played at Humber College. What did playing the weekend in Toronto and having great games? You scored 21 points in one of them. What did that mean to you personally to come back to your hometown and have such a great weekend?
Personally, to me, it was just heartwarming knowing that I had all my family and friends come out. I've been looking forward to this game since the schedule came out. So, just being able to come home, because I don't live in Ottawa. I've been playing in Ottawa and other places but Toronto. So just being able to come home, see my family, my mom, my brothers, and just being able to show out like I did at Humber. So that just meant the world to me, and just being able to play my game and play with at a new level and be able to do the kind of the same thing I did at Humber, it just made it seem like, yeah, this is where I'm meant to be.
That's great to hear. Yeah, speaking of Humber, you had the fantastic college career there. You guys just won the national championship. What differences have you found, or have there been a lot of differences between the OCAA and the OUA so far?
Yeah, there's been differences just like in school classes, and then just the prep, lots of film, the scout, just that level, and just the amount of different sets and stuff that you have to learn, because we don't really do that stuff in college. It's just like, it's not, the play style not really different. It's just more like complex, but like you have to adjust, and it's been tough first semester adjusting, but I think I'm getting the hang of it.
Yeah, so do you think like that even as well as you've played so far, like there's still room for your whole like
Yeah,
game to come together a bit more?
yeah, way more.
That's
There's
great to
so much
hear.
work to be done.
Yeah, and you've got time, and of course you have a great team around you. Is there anyone like sort of on your team who you've really found yourself gelling with, or has it been just the entire team so far?
It's been the entire team. Like all guys play a factor in how I play and being welcome to the team. Like everyone, even the rookies play their factor. They like, I take I take recommendations, I take advice from everybody. Like I'm a student of the game, so I like to know what I need to work on and what I'm doing good at. So it doesn't matter if you're a rookie, it doesn't matter if you're a coach, it doesn't matter if even the person that does the score clock. I'm still gonna listen. I'm gonna take the advice. I'm gonna try to use it.
Well, I think that's a great attitude. Do you feel like a veteran because you have all of these playing years under your experience, or do you feel
Um,
more like a rookie because it's your first year at Ottawa?
um, like kind of, sort of. Like I don't feel like a rookie because like I played post secondary. I won a championship, so I know how all that
Of
is
course,
supposed to
yeah.
go. So like leadership, like leadership wise, being one of those guys on the team. No, I don't. But like going into like the playing part, I feel like a rookie because I'm new to the university level, but I played post secondary, so it doesn't really feel like it's like a gray area that I'm in. That like it doesn't feel like I'm a rookie, but it feels like I'm a rookie.
Yeah, and of course, off the court, you know what it takes to win a championship. You're a defending national champion.
Yeah,
Have you like been able to bring some of that championship DNA to the locker room and to the guys in the squad?
yeah. Like I tell them all the time, even when we're in games and we're in dogfights, like this is this type of stuff that like will take us to win a national championship. So like I'm just always reminding guys like this is how you win a championship. This is how you win a championship. This is how you win a championship. Even though it was a college, it's still the same. Like winning a championship is still the same.
100%.
It doesn't matter what level you're at. So it's just I
Yeah, and
know
that's
what it
so
takes. It's just showing them how it is to win that. It's just that's how you know.
Yeah, and that's so valuable to a team. Just before I let you go, it's been great having you on. I know it's only your first year in Ottawa. You're still new to the crosstown rivalry, but it's a big one between maybe the two best basketball schools in the country. But Carleton, you guys won both of your games in Toronto. They lost both of their games. Do you feel a bit of a shift or a balance in the basketball in Ottawa, or do you not worry about things like that?
Um, no, I don't really get into that stuff because at the end of the day, anybody could lose. Like maybe they just had an off weekend. Well, when we play them, it's gonna be a completely different story. Because teams like to go crazy when we play.
Yeah.
Like they play Carleton and they play Ottawa. Like, but now we're gonna play each other. Like the game could go different ways. So I don't really get into that stuff. But it's still gonna be a good game when we play each other. So
Oh, absolutely. It always is. Kevin, thanks so much for coming on. Really appreciate you taking the time.
thanks
Good
for
luck.
having me. Like I said, it's been an honor. Appreciate the time.
A big thank you again to Kevin for coming on and chatting with me today. Great to see him doing so well and the Gigi's doing so well. That's going to do it for our episode here. Some games to watch this weekend and Friday. I think we got to be looking at Kingston because as much as I talked in the beginning of the show about Carleton, TMU, Ottawa. Three great women's teams in Ontario. We're forgetting about a fourth, the Queens Gales. There's so much talent in this OUA women's basketball side this year, and Carleton is taking on Queens. That's going to be a fantastic game. And then they've got the two men's teams going as well. Queens, one of the best men's teams in the country. Can the Ravens stop their slide against a really good opponent? Saturday, I think the men's game that I'm going to be watching is the Windsor Lancers head to Toronto to play the Blues. Two of the best stories this year. Can the Lancers go up against a really pleasant surprise in the U of T varsity Blues? They've been so good this season. And then on the women's side, I like Brock taking on Laurentian. I think that's going to be a good one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a like on the video, leave a comment. My name's Griffin Porter, and we will see you next week.